3. And if you please stand with me for the salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, roll call of the trust board members. Alan Mazzomi.
Here.
Laura Emsley, here. Nancy Johnson, absent. Elaine Jones.
Here.
And Ned Norris.
Here.
Thank you. Okay, can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Are there any trust board comments at this time? No? No comments? Okay. We do not have any call to the audience. Approval of minutes. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from the February 8th board meeting? I'm sorry, February 8th.
Did you get my comments about the minutes today?
Yes, I did.
So-
There were additional items that were added to the minutes, some clarification items that were added to the minutes, and then I will also get back to your email about the questions that you had.
Okay, great. Okay.
Can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second, sorry, I was asleep over here.
That's okay, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, wonderful. So we're going to go ahead and move on into the general functions items. The first item is the 2018-2019 Employee Engagement, Health, and Wellness Strategies. That's going to be presented by CBIZ.
Okay, and we have Anna here again, and from what was presented last time, there's actually been some changes she's going to talk about with some regulations, so we have a little bit of a different proposal. So I'm just going to turn it over to you.
Sure, yes. So since our last discussion, we received some updates regarding an ongoing court case between the EEOC and the organization AARP, in which the EEOC's current wellness incentive regulations are under
What? EEO?
the Equal Employer Opportunity Commission.
Yeah.
They're kind of the ones that handle wellness incentive regulations that we abide by.
Who knew?
Yeah. And their current guidelines are under scrutiny right now from the AARP, specifically because employers can incent populations by participating or by sharing medical information. So in things like health risk assessments and biometric screenings, employers can ask employees to share their personal medical information in return for a reward. And so this aspect of the regulation is under scrutiny right now. And in fact, the presiding judge on the case said that the EEOC needs to come back with an updated regulation by August. And if there is no update to the current regulation, then it will be completely vacated come January 1st, 2019. So what that means is we kind of had to go back to the drawing board because the proposal we had in place was incentivizing employees for completing a health risk assessment and a biometric screening. Now, that doesn't mean that we have to completely take those off the table. We just have to give employees more options for how they can earn their premium incentive. So that kind of brings us to the updated regulation.
It just seems weird. I mean, we asked them to do it. We didn't ask to know what the results were.
Even
And
if
you
it's
still can.
aggregate. Even if you're just asking them to see a physician and you're not collecting any of the aggregate data, that still will be vacated as of January 1st, 2019.
Yeah, that's strange.
January
Okay.
1st.
Now, we
Agree.
might receive an update from the EEOC. We were hoping to get one within March. By March, like kind of getting an idea of where they're going by August, but they've come back and said, no, we won't be providing an update in March. So that's leaving a lot of us in the industry to assume that there might not be an update at all in August. So we're taking a more conservative approach with our program designs when it comes to incentives so that we can just maintain compliance across the board. So after the cover page, it's the orange box. This is the original strategy that we talked about just a couple weeks ago, right, where employees would do the HRA and a biometric screening through UMR. And then come September 1st of 2019, they would receive their premium differential every pay period. So this is what we're no longer recommending. And then if you go to the next page in the blue, basically we moved to a point system. So employees just need to earn a total of 50 points, and then they would receive their full incentive for the 2019 plan year. And as you'll see, the health risk assessment and biometric screenings through their physicians are still an option. And in fact, we put a heavier point system on those two activities in hopes of encouraging employees to still participate. But they can earn the 50 points without participating in activity that they need to provide medical information. So like participating in a company-sponsored wellness challenge, attending at least one EAP webinar a year, employee assistance program.
They host a lot of webinars throughout the year. It's another vendor that Sunnyside contracts with. It provides counseling, free counseling services, but in addition to that, it has, like right now, they have a financial wellness webinar. So we talk to them and they're able to, if an employee goes on and registers with their email with Sunnyside, they can pull us a list of who's participated in the webinars.
Okay.
So we can have the HRA and the biometric as an option, we just can't have it be the sole determining factor.
Well,
Exactly.
so they can get their 50 points by doing things that don't require taking off work to go to a position or something. Is that the idea?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And obviously, this would require, more planning for Sunnyside to hold these other events outside of the HRA and screening. But we did confirm with UMR that for a per employee per month fee, that they could manage all the participation data and the incentive data to go back to Sunnyside. So that takes a lot of the administrative burden off of HR.
What's that per employee per month fee?
So the pricing for everything is on the next page. So the per member per month fee is $1.65. And then I also included the costs for each participant if they were to turn in a CHRA, and a physician lab form is $8.80. And then in the green box, based on two different participation rates, you have your estimated total cost in the middle column for Sunnyside, so that would be the initial investment. And then the far right column is what you can expect if from non-participants and what they end up paying through their premium differential. So for example, in the first row, we're at 70% participants. That means that 30% of members chose not to participate, and so Sunnyside would then be getting over $186,000 back into the surplus.
This number is similar to the number, I believe, that was presented at the last meeting, 70% participation.
Mm-hmm.
Do you anticipate that number changing at all because of the different structure of the proposal?
If it's at 70%, this is dependent on the $25 per pay period.
So you're just assuming that that's a motivating factor enough for 70% of the population to participate?
And that's why we showed the two options, just showed a 70% and then a 35%, to just give you a range. We would like to see 70%. I think knowing this population, sometimes it's hard to get the engagement, so we'd love to see it, but I don't know that it would be that high. But again, it's about communication, so the sooner, if this is something that the trustees want to move forward with and the governing board wants to move forward with, it's something that we want to start talking about in May so that they have time and we're out at the meetings explaining what needs to be done.
How often do you see 100% participation?
It's very rare.
Very rare.
And
Okay.
I'd say
I was just going to say, the only reason I'd be concerned about that is because of the cost to manage the program, and then all of a sudden that would be our cost that we would have to, handle. But
And I'd say participation, aside from communication, it's very much dependent on the amount of the incentive being provided. So $25 with a regular pay period, I know you guys have 21. So usually if there's like a 24 pay period, we see with a $25 premium differential upwards of 70% participation.
you do?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
But it's possible that people may do all 5. I mean, they might go to the challenge and then go to their doctor to get cholesterol checked or something. So it's not necessarily either or, but for our purposes, they could get it a variety of ways.
Yeah, most definitely. As long as they understand that they can't earn more than 50 points and there's a limit to the amount of incentive they can earn.
They're not gonna get more money if they do more points.
Right.
They're just gonna get the $25 and that's it for
Yeah.
per pay period.
But our assumption is it will save money in the long run if people are more well.
Yeah.
So we win either
Absolutely.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then on the next page, I did include a backup option. If you didn't want to go the premium differential route or offer all these different activities, you can kind of take a step back and just do a preventive care campaign.
I'm sorry, I go back. I had a question on the estimated cost of, is this of managing the challenges and rewards? That's $1.65 per member per month. Is that only for the people who actually do something? Or do we pay them to monitor the people who do nothing as well?
Correct. So yeah, it's for
Why
all
does it go down
members.
then? If it goes down, why is it more if there's more people than if there's fewer people? Wouldn't the cost be the same per person if they were managing everybody, no matter what?
So we're looking at 35% participation, and that means only of that, the eligible 35%, we're paying that $650 and that $880. But that $1.65, we don't have it categorized for each one, but you're paying less because less people are participating with the HRA and the physician lab form, so you're saving dollars there.
Because the $650 and the $880 are only if somebody completes a form
Right.
and submits that.
Yeah.
Whereas the $1.65 is for all the members regardless.
Regardless.
Right, okay, so that's,
Eligible.
Right.
Yes.
okay.
That's a good
So it's
question.
$1.65 for every, so there's a base cost no matter who participates.
Correct.
And then there's more if it's these, they choose these particular. So your participation, that's if 70% do the lab form and the CHRA, is that, I missed that part, okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a good question. Yeah. So then on page 5, this is the second option. Just simply do a preventive care campaign and push employees to seek preventive care services and establish a primary care provider. You could do a DRIP campaign so that you have communications going out throughout the year. And you certainly could offer incentives if there were a budget for it, but you wouldn't be able to do a premium differential within 2018, or
What's a DRIP?
beyond 2018,
Is it
sorry.
DRIP the same thing as boosters or something? Is it, I heard it called booster sessions, but that's if you, what's a drift campaign?
A DRIP campaign?
Oh, drip, I thought you said drift.
Oh, DRIP. So it's kind of like set times throughout the year that you're
Oh, okay.
communicating about one topic.
Okay, thank you.
And then if Sunnyside wanted to do a preventive care campaign and collect aggregate data from that, you could utilize the physician lab forms. Obviously, the cost would be associated, I think, $8.80. But again, with this campaign option, you wouldn't have the option to do premium incentives. So there would be no surplus coming back into Sunnyside.
And you can only do the incentives right now through 2018, and we don't have that built into the budget at this time. So we
Oh,
still
I
will
see.
talk about preventive care, but I don't know how viable an option it really is.
I'm a firm believer unless you put some cash behind it, you're gonna get low participation. Just from personal experience, once you put some cash on it, you're gonna get higher participation, as long as you do a very good campaign, communication campaign.
Yeah, historically, we've had very low participation in our wellness programs. We've had our Worried Well group that kind of are the consistent participants, and other than that, we haven't been able to branch out to our other employees. So, yeah, having an incentive behind it will definitely make a difference, I'm sure. So, okay.
Any other questions?
I have a question, I just need some clarification on. Actually, I've heard everything that was said, but I'm still back at the lawsuit.
Okay, yeah, sure.
So if I'm understanding right, the AARP has been challenged by the EEOC?
The opposite.
Oh, it's the opposite?
Yes.
Okay, EEOC is challenging AARP.
The AARP is challenging EEOC. So they took the EEOC to court
Okay.
on their regulations.
And so the judge says, I want a new regulation from
Correct.
you by August.
Mhm.
Unless I get one, I'm gonna vacate the current regulation,
Correct.
which is, which allows for this incentive to be offered.
Correct.
So, that would be the judge's decision on the lawsuit.
Yes.
Vacate the regulation. I
Yes.
guess. And there's no other option for a decision favorable by the courts.
The only other option would be for the EEOC to come back and provide a revised regulation,
And
which would be hopefully less strict than vacating it completely. So I'm guessing it'd be kind of a middle ground between where we are now and then completely vacating the regulation.
Yeah, I'm thinking that, I mean, what I'm thinking it has to do with is that the argument is that you can't blackmail people into going to the doctor and giving personal information,
Right.
Mhm.
right? Is that, yeah.
Mhm.
And even outside of giving the personal information, the way our team is reading it is even saying we're going to have a premium differential by asking you to go to the physician, which we know is the right thing to do, and it's free to the employee. They're still saying that is not, that needs to be vacated
Mhm.
within
It's
the
not
right.
what?
Yeah.
So they're saying that you're not allowed to even just having that premium differential, that is like it's a hardship to ask the employee or
Well, the
member to
people who would have an
go.
interest in that would be the physicians. Are they saying that then we are,
They're saying by asking an employee to go to their doctor to get an incentive,
You're impositioning them.
you're imposition, that's the word I was
You're
looking
what?
for, impositioning them.
yeah, well, I guess, I suppose, yeah, but I was thinking you're also requiring them to give personal information to, health information to providers.
Mhm. Well, in the
We don't get it,
AARP,
but we're still requiring them to go and submit to that, I suppose, in
They're-
order to get that. So it's, they're thinking it's like, well, that's why I use the word blackmail, to incentivize blackmail, whatever. I mean, maybe that's the argument, I mean,
they're
it's too bad
also,
because you know that people are going to
they've
go
also
more.
said that the AARP believes that employers could potentially coerce employees into doing activities that they wouldn't do otherwise, right? And that some employees simply cannot afford to not participate. They can't afford the premium increase.
Oh, I see.
So that it's not, in the AARP's eyes, it's not a truly voluntary program.
That's interesting. We had the same
It's just
ethical
like the
question.
exercise program.
Yeah,
If you're gonna get points for an exercise program, you can't do it for just exercise. You have to provide options for those people that can't exercise, earn the same amount of points.
yeah, well, it's an interesting ethical argument. We had the same thing when I was the chair of the review, institutional review board for research, and you couldn't offer an incentive that made it not really voluntary, that people couldn't
Right.
afford to not do it,
Yeah.
you know? So it was the same issue on when is it no longer really voluntary? You know, if you're
Mhm.
offering food stamps to low-income women to come in and give blood, then it's not really voluntary, that kind of thing. That's interesting.
So this plan, though, the plan in blue, you
Yeah.
feel complies with the law as stated if they don't give another option, the EOC doesn't give another option, and then the court vacates the rule.
Yes,
Okay.
because then it truly is a voluntary program for the employee to still earn the premium incentive without having to share any personal medical information with anybody.
Do you know, do the Wellness Challenge programs sometimes recommend that people go see their doctor before they do the Wellness Challenge? You know, for example, if you're 65 and obese and smoke, and now you want to go on the walk up Tumamock Hill Challenge or something, I mean, but and you can't safely ask someone to do that without physician approval. So they still might end up going to the doctor more and to their
I
primary
would
care.
say at least as a recommendation. I mean,
Yeah.
so you would tell them, you know, you can participate, but we recommend that you're physically able to do it and you
Yeah,
consult your
well, yeah.
doctor before you do it.
So they're
Yeah.
going to get the points for doing the challenge, but as a side effect, they may still go to the doctor, and we may still get that benefit in the long run, that they end up going to primary care, even
That's
though we're
true.
not, they don't, you know. yeah.
Even though it's not part of the
And
criteria.
there's a lot of different wellness challenges that we work with Anna and UMR and their team. I mean, it's not always.
Sorry, they're what?
It's not always necessarily activity-based.
That's true.
Oh,
There's a
they
lot of,
more
I mean, there
like
could
eating
be other.
changes or something like that?
Yeah, there could be a lot of different options.
Okay,
I've got
don't
like 25 options besides moving.
Yeah.
We
Oh.
do a study program where you have to read all the health books and all the dietary books. You read a different chapter every week. and
Interesting.
Cool.
You get so many points for every chapter, then it's a book we got from somebody.
Well, sometimes that actually might be a lot smarter, because sometimes people, to move them toward being ready to do movement or something, you start with information and persuasion anyway. So that actually might get more people that way. Yeah,
We have 4 challenges, spring challenge, we're coming way in, beginning,
yeah,
lose weight.
yeah,
So you really don't do anything other than weigh in.
yeah. Yeah, well, the eating's the first, well, changing the eating's the first step anyway, from what I had read, so, okay. I like it.
When it comes to these options here, there's,
Actually, I like it
you were
better.
talking earlier about the challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Who is going to be handling the administration of those programs?
So, and correct me if I'm wrong, Anthony, but you have that built into the UMR portal, right?
You know what? I
Right.
can't hear you, I'm sorry.
It's,
We have that all built in within the UMR portal, so we'll be able to track and administer all of that.
Okay.
With some guidance from you all or from the other SUSD committee that comes up with ideas.
Okay.
On what we want it to look like.
So the actual, like, I guess,
We probably need.
coordination of these programs, that would fall on Sunnyside's benefits office?
Yeah, and deciding on programming and.
But I think that's where we can help you and your team. It's more of the sending out the communication of, you already get the monthly, or
Right.
I think it's at least monthly, that EAP is sending out. Just making sure that the information is going out. These activities are available, here's your time frame, and we can help with we schedule it monthly or whatever we come up with, and so we can help with those communication. I think we're still keeping it fairly easy. We can help with getting someone out here to do an on-site seminar or webinar or whatever it may be.
and these
So-
are certainly just suggestions. I mean, if you had other ideas or things you already do or have done, we can certainly,
I think I asked this question before, but I don't remember the answer, about whether we've invited existing programs to come in, like Weight Watchers or AA or something like that. I mean,
Yeah, I think you could potentially have that as a company. I don't know if there's fees associated with it, but maybe that's a company-sponsored event, and they attend, the Weight Watchers.
I don't know about Weight Watchers. I mean, AA is free. You're supposed to give it, $1 a meeting or something, but you actually don't have to give anything. But I don't know if we have any of those, typically, I don't know if we have invited those groups, which are.
They have been invited in the
Yeah,
past.
we have used Weight Watchers in the past, but there is a fee that's associated with it. So
Yeah,
it's,
with
again,
Weight
a
Watchers.
select few that typically participate. But yeah, we have done those in the past also, Weight Watchers.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of sustainability long-term, and there's lots of those meetings already in existence. We
Right.
don't have to reinvent some of that.
Yeah.
The only concern that I'd have, and I feel very, positive that we should move forward in this direction, but is the workload, the additional workload that would be put onto the benefits department. We've done wellness activities in the past, and they often fall flat, but we haven't had incentives tied to them, which I'm hoping would drive a lot of the participation. But that said, we do have a small benefits department, so
Well,
ensuring that
if we have-
this work is completed is.
Well, if we have anywhere from 186,000 to 400,000 savings, or extra money as a result of this, then it seems like you could hire somebody to help
Wellness
with the
coordinator.
coordination.
Right. Yep.
Do you give
I
a
agree.
smoking discount
No.
if you don't smoke?
No, we do not. Is that part of the regulation at all?
only if you're requiring an actual test. So if it's just an affidavit that the employee has to sign that says, yes, I'm a smoker, no, I'm not, then you can certainly include that.
Interesting.
If you are requiring them to do a cotinine test, then yeah, that's under
It's
scrutiny
under
as
review.
well.
Huh, interesting.
Maricopa County's.
TMC is doing that too, I think. I
Well,
think
the
TMC is
private
swapping.
companies are doing a lot, but the
Yeah.
first government they did do it was Maricopa County, and they gave a huge non-smoking discount, and then they randomly tested people.
Whoa.
Huh.
And when we
Interesting.
increased our non-smoking
Well-
to $20 pay period, they said, nothing, no.
Wow.
Number one, it's too damn
Well,
expensive
you know,
to do
well-
the test.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's an expensive
Those are- yeah,
test.
Those expensive, yeah.
Well, some of those programs, we only require them to attend one on-site wellness seminar, and nobody's going to quit smoking or stop drinking or any of that with one
One wellness seminar.
Yeah, but they might get interested if we had them on a regular basis. If somebody goes to one, I mean, that may be,
Do you have any nicotine withdrawal or, I mean, non-smoking programs included in your package?
Yeah, resources for that, absolutely. And plenty of marketing collateral.
Be honest, as an ex-smoker, none of them work, but
I think that even
they only work if you want them to work.
well, I read it takes 7 quit attempts for people who are successful. It's, it takes multiple times, like lots of things. But how much would it cost to have a community outreach
Internal.
person, part-time
So
or
well,
something?
we actually worked with the Wellness Council of Southern Arizona for the last few years. We spent around $20,000 to $30,000 a year working
Closer
with
to
them.
40.
Was it 40? Okay.
Yeah, you
So with the Wellness Council, I'm assuming probably a staff member would be around $40,000 to $50,000 a year probably. For a staff member, around $50,000 a year.
I would say there's the Arizona,
Smoke
what's the statewide organization? Wellness, the one that Jim Click started.
Yeah.
Oh, the
Wellness.
We'll call it, yeah.
Yeah.
So they've had out here, just what we were seeing though is more, I mean, maybe, I want to say 10%, and it's the same people kind of doing the same thing.
Really?
Right.
So, but we didn't have incentives, so I think as
Which
we,
would make a huge difference.
so
Yeah.
if we have incentives and we can build up a little
Mhm.
bit of that next year with, unfortunately, non-participants, but ultimately we do
Mhm.
want participants. Maybe we look at WACOA again, we expand on what UMR can do. We have Anna and her
I think
team.
this is a good start.
Yeah, I do too. I do
And,
too.
and then,
Yeah, I'd like to-
again, to address your comments about just HR staff, again, I know, working with all of you, that you can't do the tracking and all of that. So I think what we would just need to know is that, yes, Sunnyside's on board with this, and we just need to have a contact that we can send out help with communication, that
Mhm.
this is gonna go district-wide.
Sure.
Well, the tracking's one thing, but having the programs actually in place and either in person or whatever, I mean, that's what you're thinking about is coordinating the
That's
actual
exactly
programs,
it.
not tracking them, but creating them, so. I think
There's a
you're
lot of
getting-
work that's involved in that.
Yeah, I think you
know.
need somebody extra. Maybe you want to come back with a proposal, what kind of,
Mhm.
if you want to get a public health graduate student intern, or you want to hire somebody, and how many
Mhm.
hours you would guess?
The only thing I'm concerned about with doing that prior to the first year is that we don't have the funds available yet because we
Oh, true.
haven't tried it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think I'd feel more comfortable probably shouldering the burden of that in the benefits department the first year, probably heavily leaning on our consultant
Yeah.
and UMR, and then looking at that probably for the following year.
Well, and you might, I would think we would be able to make a deliberate decision on which risk factors to target, because unless something changed in the last couple months, heart disease being the #1 cause of
Mhm.
preventable early death, and then we know what those risk factors are, and if we wanted to target those in particular with on-site community outreach existing programs, that might make more sense.
So if we make a decision tonight, then we can decide to move forward with the premium incentive program and then discuss at future meetings the
Mhm.
different options
Mhm.
that we would like to implement. Does that sound fair
Well,
to
I would make a
everybody?
motion that you move forward with option 1 and start working with CBIZ and your office.
Mhm.
Start working with CBIZ and United to formulate the details.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I actually like this better than the original one.
Oh, good, yeah.
I thought you might.
Do I have a second on that motion?
Thank you.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
And then we
Dr.
get-
Jones, I didn't hear you.
Aye.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Yippee,
Just
would
to be
that
on the
be
safe,
better?
just to be on the safe side. Wonderful, okay. And the motion, and I just want to repeat the motion for that was to approve the option 1 with the Human Resources Benefits Department reviewing different options to finalize for the incentive program. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, I would eventually like to see much more detail about what the webinars are, and what the target is for other on-site programs in the future, and what risk factors we'd be making available.
Is that something that we can work with directly with CBIZ and UMR in the Human Resources and Benefits Office, and then bring back to the Trust Board Committee to review in the future?
And I
in
think
future
especially as
meetings?
we're getting more claims data to be able to.
Perfect. Okay, great. Wonderful, thank you. Okay, moving on to the next item, we're going to have a UMR present on decision support tool demonstrations and strategies.
Wonderful. Hopefully you all can see this. Just a little bit. Okay. So this tool, again, just to recap our prior discussions, this is a tool that's available on the UMR website to help members, both current or prospective, and deciding which health plan is right for them and their families, and to do so more specifically based off of cost. So I'm going to log in here, and this is just a demo environment. Nothing is loaded or coded specific to SUSD, and that's actually kind of where the cost in this tool comes, is having us load the specific details for your plan offering. So this is the umr.com landing page for those of you who have never seen it. Didn't take my login, one second. Okay, so if I'm a SUSD employee or a health plan member, this is what the website looks like when I log in. And of course, I don't have time today to go through all the features, but here at the bottom, you've got this tile called a Plan Cost Estimator. So I would click on that. And in this demo environment, you're seeing two options, but we would limit it only to one, and that would be the advanced tool, which is preloaded with SUSD information. It links you out to a separate page because we can customize this with SUSD logos. And the reason it's a separate page is because we don't want to limit this tool to people who are only enrolled in the health plan right now. We want to make it available to prospective employees, perhaps as a recruitment tool, or people who don't have coverage currently but want it. So we would customize this page. You could link out to it from your intranet, or members could access the tool via their normal umr.com login.
You said they could do it from intranet, but can they do it from home as well? Because intranet's within the...
Yeah, you could just use a separate link on your intranet so that it's quick and easy for prospective benefit enrollees to go to this page, and they don't have to have a umr.com login. So you can do it both ways, but yeah, anyone can do this from home.
Okay.
So the first thing when you get in here is there is a disclaimer on this, accept the terms and conditions. Basically what we're having members realize is that this is a tool that provides estimates only. We don't have a crystal ball. We can't predict what your healthcare costs are going to be for the year, but we do our best job to estimate them. So you accept the conditions. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit more. The first question on here, the zip code. I'm going to put in mine. The reason this is important is because obviously healthcare costs vary by where you live. We don't see as large of a differential within Pima County, but if someone is living in Vail, if they're living in Green Valley, there might be some fluctuations. Or if there's a member that's living out of the state, a dependent, somebody in college, those types of scenarios. Salary range, none of this information is retained, so we do a good job. We try and communicate that and say, hey, you're filling this out, but we're not saving the information. Salary range is important to be for a couple of reasons. One, it's integrated in the decision-making kind of tools based off of how much you can afford to pay a claim. If you don't have liquid savings built up, maybe you shouldn't be on an HSA plan. But the other thing that this tool does with the salary information is it's going to show you the estimated tax savings or tax liability reductions based off of this number. It's taking your tax bracket.
That's pretty cool.
And then based off of what you choose for HSA or FSA contributions, it's going to show you the tax savings. This right here, likely this drop-down menu wouldn't be applicable for SUSD. We would omit this. Sometimes employers have different locations, different plans that are only available to them if they live in a certain state. So this will likely go away, but I have to choose a value for this. Names, doesn't really matter. Let's do a Bob Smith, age 40. Male, and let's say that Bob has a spouse, Jane Smith, she's the same age. So you can see the system already detected employee +1. We would customize this based off of the tiering that SUSD has, whether that's employee +1 or employee plus spouse. And we click continue. Now, I apologize if this is hard to see. I need to zoom out, at least for a little while. So once you put that information in, it's going to kind of pre-populate the screen based off of age and gender. So it's saying that generally speaking, males between the ages of 40 and 49, low utilization of the health plan, low costs. It also puts in some common conditions that a male between the ages of 40 and 49 might experience or have treated throughout the year, such as back pain, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. Now, then as you're going in here, it's important that you're being honest. And you're going to do this for yourself, you're going to do it for your spouse, any dependents. So I'm Bob, and I'm going to be like, okay, you know, I probably do utilize the insurance a little bit more than the average person my age. I'm going to call myself medium healthcare utilizer. Common conditions, diabetes. I haven't been diagnosed with diabetes. I haven't been diagnosed with heart disease. I do get my flu shots done, my cholesterol. I go in for a annual wellness exam. Common prescriptions. I'm going to just X these out for a while so I can show you this tool. But as we go down here at the bottom, this is where we can kind of start to customize based off of the individual what the health conditions they have are. So let's say I also have asthma. I'm going to add that. And as we're adding conditions or medications, we are using kind of our book of business and our data on what the average cost is to treat those conditions. Procedures. Maybe I am in the midst of getting allergy injections done on a monthly basis. I'm going to add that. Prescriptions. It's pre-populating this based off of some of the conditions we've selected, but let's say that I have an albuterol inhaler. I'm going to select that. It's all specific per drug on, let me zoom in here. It's all specific on the package that you get it in, the strength, number of quantities. So I'm just going to add this in the interest of time. Medical equipment, nebulizer, slings, splints, any of those types of things. Hey, if you're expecting to have a surgery, you know you're going to need crutches, you know you're going to need whatever the case may be, a walking boot. So I did that for Bob. I'm going to do that for my wife, Jane. My wife is as healthy as can be. She's always on me to eat healthier, blah, blah, blah. She doesn't have any back pain. She did nothing. I just deleted mammogram, which I shouldn't have done, but I'll add it. She gets her pap smear done. She goes in once a year for her wellness visit. And let's add the mammogram that I accidentally deleted. And she goes in once a year for a mammogram. So obviously very customizable. You want to be as honest as you can and put in your health information because that makes the tool more accurate. So once we've done all that, we're going to click continue. And down here at the bottom, a couple more questions. Are you filing jointly? Are you married? Again, getting to that tax bracket piece. What's your annual taxable income as a family? What are your pay periods? How often are you getting paid? Is it weekly, bi-weekly, monthly?
Will you be able to customize that?
We can pre-populate that. Miscellaneous medical expenses. If you are expecting dental or vision expenses, and that kind of explains it here if they click on it. So let's just say I know I need some dental work done. I'm expecting that to be $300.
What dentist do you go to?
Nogales.
Okay, I'm going to zoom in here just a little bit. Now when we get into these aren't SUSD's plans again, so I think the most pertinent one for us to look on is here at the right, the health savings account. So a couple of things on this. Right here is showing us the tax savings. So if I crank this up and I'm going to contribute $1,500, it's estimating that based off of my tax bracket for the family that I'm lowering my tax liability by $375.
If you take it all the way to the right, does it stop at the maximum allowable? Is that the maximum allowable?
I think it's 63,
It's like 70.
isn't it? 63?
No, it's not, but what's going on here in this demo environment is...
They might have an
yeah,
employer
right here,
contribution.
This employer contribution.
Oh,
So the
that's
answer
it.
to your question, yes.
Okay. But you have to add the employer contribution to it.
Yeah, you gotta add the employer contribution.
6,900.
So...
The employer contribution was up there, you said?
Yeah.
It's up
Yeah,
there,
it's
so
right
we
here.
could pre-populate it with
Mhm.
that. Okay, got it.
Absolutely, and it'll pre-populate it based off of tier too. So
Oh.
we're in the family, so this is 1,000, I believe. If I haven't been in this demo environment in a while, but if we did single, I think it drops it down to 500.
Got it.
So sometimes people don't know how much they want to contribute to their HSA. So this is how do I choose? Well, it's grayed out this number, healthcare costs, because that's estimating based off of what we chose on that last screen. Miscellaneous medical is coming from up here. That's what we said for dental and vision. how much is in your HSA right now? We're gonna assume there's nothing in there. These are people that are prospective HSA plan participants. So what this is showing is, well, based off of your expected utilization, you'll have $2,700 in excess in that plan. And that's after taking into account your cost. Now what's nifty is, like, $6,000, that's a lot to ask of some employees. Let's say they only want to put in 500 plus the 1,000 there. Get it to update, 1 second. So I'm putting $500 in, plus my employer. Now it's showing me, well, what it should be showing, I got it to work earlier today, is it'll usually show in red a deficit. So instead of showing you, here's how much extra you're going to have, it's going to say, here's how much extra you should add, because based off of your utilization, you're not going to have enough to pay. If I were to refresh this, I think it would work, but hopefully you kind of see the idea. Now, some other things that it shows you. Annual premium. We put this at the top for a reason, and because everyone wants to be on the rich PPO plan, low copays and whatnot, but they sometimes forget what that actually costs up front. So in this example, again, not SUSD numbers, but showing you the premium for this plan would have been $1,600, whereas this one would have been $50. Annual health service costs. Obviously, they go up on these HDHP plans because there's more upfront dollars. You're paying more upfront because you have that high deductible. Plus the health contributions from the employer, $1,000 for the HSA. And then when we add that all up here at the bottom, it is showing you annual plan total cost. If you were under plan A, that expensive PPO that you're in love with, you'd have spent $4,000 for the year. And if you're on the HDHP plan, you would have spent $2,600 for the year, whilst still receiving the same care. So these numbers, don't take these numbers to heart, because it's going to be a little bit different when we code it for SUSD. But hopefully this gives you an idea of what the tool would look like and why it would be beneficial to steer members towards the HDHP plan. And then after I'm done with this, the pop-up, it looks like it blocked, but which I don't want to mess with SUSD's computer, but you would print this out and you could have this handy for you for reference later on, and you can come in at any point and change your decisions. Questions on that?
I wish we'd had that when I was working.
Yeah, it's pretty handy.
It's very robust.
Yeah.
From other ones I've seen, it includes a lot of information and
Which
adding
one?
information.
So do
I
you,
would suggest that this be as a part of the presentation at your open enrollment meetings. And because, I mean, people just, until they see the numbers, they'll never really leave the PPO.
Right.
I agree.
They're afraid of it.
So what's the cost for this system?
There is a free one available. I'll put that disclaimer out there. The difference with the free one is, let's see if I can do this real quick. I actually, as a member, have to go in and put in what my deductible is, what my out-of-pocket is, what my copays are.
It's not free.
It's not user friendly.
People aren't
No
gonna
one
do it.
uses it. So the plan, the cost to load and code this is $10,000.
Okay.
And then in the years to follow, we just charge if we're making updates. So if you decide you're gonna add a plan, or you're gonna change your copays or deductibles, we kind of prorate it based off of the hour, how many hours it takes our coders to update this. So some upfront costs, but then a tool that's available to you for the years to come with only minor additional capital. Here's the basic. Where did I click on? Well, the basic, no one's going to put in their own numbers. It happens very rarely. But it is still available. I want to put that out there. That's free. For people who are super interested in like numbers, they can use this tool at any point, and there's no cost to SUSD. It's even available right now, but the coded one is $10,000. And then the last thing, in this little packet right here, I've got 3 samples of some marketing collateral that we can provide. The first one gives the members kind of a step-by-step on how to complete the tool.
so I was wondering whether there would be assistance on even working with the tool, because I don't remember what the average age is, whether people would be comfortable doing the whole thing.
Yeah,
Probably a lot of people do.
Between this and we would be willing to have somebody during open enrollment specifically, we could have somebody on site just going through this tool with employees as needed, So certainly willing to do that. There's also videos on umr.com that you can watch that explain this. When you get to this one with the table, basically this is something that you could do a mail merge with. So if we pulled from your HRIS system the IDs, the zip codes, the names, the dependent information, even their annual income, we would mail merge this and we could have customized tables and printouts to either email or hand people at open enrollment. So if I'm super lazy and I don't know any of this information, I don't know what I make in a year, I don't know what my annual deductible is out of pocket, we mail merge this onto this page and hand it out to members on an individual basis, and then they have the information at their disposal. And then the last one, this comparing health plan options, this is just a one-pager, so quick and easy flyer that we can give people to remind them about the tool.
Is this an additional fee?
It's a mail merge, so, I mean, I'm happy to do mail merge for you.
Okay,
The
so
issue
it's
is-
not like, okay.
No, I give it to you in a Word document.
Oh,
We mail merge
okay.
it off of an Excel spreadsheet.
Okay.
I would do that for you, but the issue is then I have
The private
3,000
option. Mhm. Right.
PDFs that I somehow have to get to you. So, but maybe I could do it on site or on your computer or something. I don't know. We can figure it out.
Okay. For the free option, do you have the same type of handouts? You would use the same type of handouts for the free option?
Yeah, they're modified ever so slightly, so that's we
Okay.
can do that for you at no charge now. The one pager is available in Spanish. This instruction one is not available in
Okay.
Spanish.
Any other questions?
Yeah.
What do y'all think about the price?
Free's not always the best.
Right.
And if you can get somebody to do all the front loading for you for all of your information, it's well worth the price.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a slight gamble, I suppose, because we're thinking that if people see it, actually do this and see it, that they'll move over to the one that we want them to move over to and have more migration. So I don't know how many people would have to move over in order to make up the 10,000, probably not that many. I don't know.
Yeah, probably wouldn't be.
That's a
anybody.
good question. How
Yeah,
many
I
people would have to
mean,
move?
the trust fund is really gonna get healthy when you get people out of PPO on
Right.
Tuesday. Not only for the employees themselves, but for the trust fund. So the more you can move, the more you can inform them that they're wasting their money in the PPO. And they
Right.
really are. I've yet to see one person that would have paid more on the HT.
Right.
Plan.
When you moved at Pima County, when you moved to the full HDHP, did you transition out your higher plans throughout the course of years?
No, we did it all in one phone.
You did?
We informed everybody a year in advance that this was the last year of PPO. And we informed them also by making the PPO pay what it really cost. So their rates went up by 35%.
So the year prior to doing the 35% rate increase, did you see a lot of migration from those PPOs down to the high deductible health
Oh, yeah.
plan?
Well, we opened enrollment before that year. We saw, 600-700 people move over. And then a year later, we just got rid of the PPO and moved 1,400 people.
Mhm.
And we had very little complaining because we spent the whole year showing them just exactly something like this.
So you had something similar to this for your employees?
Yes. Yeah, we had it developed, basically told our person, give me 100 people randomly with their actual expenses for the previous year and then run it as if they'd have been on a high deductible plan.
And then gave them that
Every single
comparison
one
of
of them,
those?
100 would have saved money, saved a lot of money on a high deductible.
Oh, interesting.
People don't realize that, being paid a deductible to doctor is not all you pay. Premiums are higher and
Did you get that 100, sampling of 100 people from your medical provider at the time?
TPA.
From your TPA?
Yeah, because we couldn't look at it, I didn't want to look at it.
That, right, well, and that, I think that sounds like,
we
that's
could,
a
because
viable
it was my
option.
dad, I could have, my help desk manager could look at it, but I
Right.
didn't want her messing with it either.
So, but that's a viable option then, instead of paying $10,000 to get a sampling
We got billed
like
pretty
that,
good for
right?
it.
Did you?
Yeah, plus we didn't get something that went on forever. I mean, this is something that's going to continue.
I
That's
think
true.
that's a big point, is it's that upfront investment, and
Yeah.
I don't know, but you do have some allotments.
If enough people moved over.
communication That you could potentially.
Communication allotments.
If enough people moved over voluntarily, then it would be a lot easier
I think it
to
would pay
just.
for itself over about 18 months, if not less.
I think 100 might be a bit of a stretch for free, but I could take 20, 25, 30 members at random. We would basically, the issue with doing that is we don't have a full year's of claim.
Right.
So if I do it now, it's not as meaningful. But
Right.
we could do our best. We would basically take their claims, rerun them in a non-real, non-tied to banks environment claim system, and say, here's what you spent out of your pocket for the PPO claim, here's what you would have spent out of pocket for HDHP, factor in the HSA contributions and
Yeah,
Right.
factor in the HSA
and the
contributions.
premium, and say, you, on average, of the sampled members that were on the PPO plan instead of HDHP, they paid $380 more. And it's actually probably higher
Right.
than that.
Oh, that's
Right.
much higher.
I really like the tool. I think that it looks, I mean, I would definitely use it myself, and I would promote it as much as possible for employees to use it. I think our employees would get a lot of benefit out of it, and I think that they would use it. I'm just a little leery of that $10,000 price
It's
tag.
a lot, and I don't know what the flexibility is on the 10,000, but it does seem like a lot, but it's a good tool, so whatever it ends up costing, I think it'd be great to have.
Yeah,
I can say there are other, I know it is a lot, and there are other tools out there, and they are significantly more expensive than the 10,000. 30,000 is one that is out there, Jellyvision, and it's a little bit interactive, but it's not as
yeah.
detailed as this.
Mhm.
This is the most detailed tool I've seen,
Mhm.
so just also check it
Well,
out.
if they're willing, if you're willing to work with individuals and even putting in, it'll be preloaded and everything, but some people like me, for example, that's why I ask the average age, because some people are more or less comfortable with going in, it's not intuitive. And even if it's pre-populated, they may need help with just that you have to save before you, or update it, or whatever you did, they don't, that's not obvious to some people, so. It's a good tool, and
That's
I
true.
like the preloaded. I don't think it's expensive, given what we're going to save, what we believe we're going to save with it.
And it's gonna it will put a burden on your staff, because at least my
Yes.
staff, they were meeting with people every day
Yeah.
that did not believe that they could save money by
Right.
switching, and they would bring them in, sit them down, look at their own number, look at that person's personal numbers, and the person would walk out just shaking their head.
I think that's happened over the last
Yeah.
few years too.
Yeah. And this would actually probably make it a lot easier for us, because we could say to them, okay, we don't have to sit there and iron it all out too, right? And say,
Yeah.
And
okay,
it's not
here's the
just
tool.
us, it's not just you guys, I mean, the city of Tucson's they've got a high deductible plan, I think it's got 6 people on it.
Right,
I mean,
right.
And my nephew's a cop over there, and I told him, why are you
Right.
in the HMO stuff?
Mhm.
Which I think
Wow.
we should get rid of. And I said, you're wasting your money. And when I sat down and showed it to him, he went into their benefits department, he can't wait for Oprah Rowan to start, he's jumping over my
Yeah. I'm gonna save some money.
It's
like a raise.
Wanting a raise, you're paying a hell of a lot of money for insurance you don't really use.
Okay. Any other discussion or questions, comments?
I think for me, it's just really, as it was said over here, that the employee being able to go through this process. I'm sitting here thinking to myself, just watching you, and you lost me already. So as long as we're able to make it available and make sure that our employees is friendly to our employees.
Yeah, and some people are just going to want examples. I'm not going to, I might not want to go in and input all my stuff from last year because it's in a drawer or whatever. But if you show me examples of 20, here's, for example, somebody most like you, you can see that you're going to, that might actually,
And we do that at
Be more
open enrollment.
persuasive.
We'll have very simple forms, and what we show the prior committee is just moving from the PPO 500 to the HSA this year will save them almost $2,000.
it's a lot, yeah.
Do you have standard usernames in your system, in your current system? And could you load their username into your username?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Well, and when you signed in, you had a username and a password.
Mm.
But I think employees in SUSD have a issued username for the computer system. If it was the same, it would be much easier, otherwise you're gonna get 1,000 calls.
We
I
do
can't
not.
remember my username or password.
Are they all individual for
So
getting
we-
into the demo?
We don't load or use any outside username or password information, and there's a couple reasons for that. One is a security issue, so it's called daisy chaining. So if someone gets their password to
Then it's
one
all-
thing,
Yeah.
now they're accessing their health information. The second issue is then we need an ongoing feed. We And then it's all tied to their ID number, so they can go in at any point and, let's see, and log out. So the first time they go to log in and create their account, they use their ID number. They'll be asked to verify some information like dates of birth, last four of social, those types of things.
But if they're currently a member, they're
Correct,
asking
they're
for the
currently a
member
member.
ID.
New user, register here, forgot username and password. So our hope would be that those types of phone calls don't come through to you for updating stuff, because you can do it right here. The other thing is if you do get those phone calls or you have somebody in your office, I'm going to go into a demo environment now for the employer. So this is Laura Maria's view.
If I'm not a member with UMR right now, how do I sign up?
Sign up on this website.
Yes.
You don't. Yeah. We could still, that's why we have a separate link for that tool.
A separate link.
So you can post it on your intranet, we can put it on.
Oh, that's what you were saying before, okay, gotcha.
Just
Yeah,
'cause
so
if you're
technically,
not-
even an employee doesn't have to have a username.
Right, that's what I was just thinking,
Yeah.
so
They don't
then
really have to
we
have
could
it.
refer all of our employees to the tool
Mhm.
through the intranet, then we don't have to worry about them signing in and all of that.
I can't actually illustrate it for you unless I could log into my account and.
That's
pull
okay,
up your
that's
name.
okay.
But you would, as an employer, you go in, you search by their name, it pulls it up, you can reset their password right there.
Okay.
Or they can call customer service. So there's 4 different ways they can reset their password.
Go ahead, go ahead.
When you do the open enrollment, you have presentations, do you have examples that would be like the,
Yeah.
okay, so that they can see across what it would be
Yeah,
about this
you
typical?
you have to keep it really simple because we really try to keep these meetings as 30, 45 minutes because no one pays attention. So we really try to get as much information as we can to the employees, but we do like, okay, here's a low, here's the total premium, here's for your preventive care, low utilization and cost, and then here's kind of medium, and then high.
Yeah, okay.
And again, every time.
And
you
then
can
they have
see,
handouts
when
or
you
they
start
have-
looking at the premiums,
Would we be emailing all the employees the link if they want to go in and use the tool? I mean, could we?
Yeah, we'll post it on an intranet.
Totally do that, yeah.
You need to send email invitations to everybody that's not on non-taxable fund.
Yeah, you need to
Specifically.
email, not just a link on.
Come learn how you can save money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you wanna raise next year, here you go,
Yeah.
right?
I've had that conversation with your employees. They've
Yeah.
stopped me in the parking lot on my way out, and this one lady walked up to me and said, "No way, I'm never gonna do this, and I can't believe this." I go, "Could you listen to the presentation and just, we'll go from there." She was walking out, "I'm gonna make this much more money in my paycheck." I go, "And you told me." It's fun to have those conversations and educate people.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, this is an action item also, so is there any motion for this item? Table item for next time? We have to move on it pretty quick for this open enrollment. don't we?
Yeah, I don't know, the only motion I could make is that you need to investigate whether or not you have $10,000.
We
And
do.
I would move that if you come up with the money, that you buy this.
So we'd have to pay for it out of our trust account,
Trust assets.
Well,
the assets from the
I
trust.
think it's money well spent.
yeah, I move that we, where's the motion? Do you have it here? What do you-
Yes, the motion's there.
Which one is it?
It's number 3C.
So I move to approve the purchase of the decision support tool as presented by UMR.
I would second that.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, our next item on the agenda is the December claims update, presented by CBIZ.
Oh, I thought it was me, I'm sorry. I'm an autopilot.
Are you receivers now? Welcome, Anthony.
Basically.
I have everyone's packet, the big papers. So we can just go to page
I never get
3.
mine in big paper I can read.
I know, we just try and make it easy for everybody.
Actually, get it this old.
So page 3 is, again, your September through January of 18 claims. Again, we've got subscribers, you have 1,185. your expected claim liability. If you go down to the bottom, that's where we expect you to be.
You know what, do you have another claims? Perfect.
Oh, you got one?
Did you get one?
Okay.
Your total medical paid claims is 406,000 in January, so down at the bottom, you'll see year-to-date, 1,037,604. Prescription drugs, 508,000 for the year so far. And then total paid claims of 1,545,000. And then if you go over to the loss ratio, you're running at 56.9% of expected and 49.8% of your maximum liability. And your per employee per month cost is $338.
Sorry, wait, where'd you go now? I
Oh,
followed
just,
you up to
sorry,
loss ratio.
then per employee per month, all the way over to the right. So this takes your medical claims, your prescription, your administration, and adds all that together. So when you add those together, your per employee per month cost is $338 currently. And then Alan, I know last meeting you asked what the runout was with Blue Cross. It was $387,000.
He asked what the what was with who?
The runout, so the district was.
Basically your September, October, November.
Right. So since the district was fully insured, you're not responsible for that 387, but the plan did end August of 2017. And so there were still runout claims.
I see. Okay, thank you. And what was it? That's what.
387,000, just over that for Blue Cross.
Where is that? Is that on here somewhere?
No, it's just additional information. I do have it in the summary in the
Okay.
front.
Thank you.
On page 4, this is your high deductible plan. So it's, again, it's still running very well at 30% of expected. Your per employee per month cost on this one's $204.
Just a little bit different.
Just a little.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, yeah.
Yep,
What
that's
was it?
obvious right there, huh?
What was the,
Well-
that's high deduct, what was the first page?
This
you
is the
looked
high
at?
deductible on page 4.
What was on page 3? That was,
That is all 3 plans rolled up.
okay. Okay.
Okay. And then when you go to the next page, this is just the $1,500 plan option, so we see that climb a little bit. It's running at 40% of expected.
Where does it say that on the, is it on the top, which ones are high deductible and which are?
So the
Oh,
first.
here it is. Okay, I
You
found
got
it. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, you're trying to find which plan we were looking at?
Well,
Yes.
we'll see where it
Right
was.
in that
on
light
here to
blue.
Look at later. It's in the,
So that's at
It's the middle one right there.
256.87. And then you'll really love page 6. This is your
Yeah.
PPO
Yeah.
plan.
It's insane. So on this chart over here, on the pie chart on page 3, that big, huge, dark blue portion right there, the PPO 500, that's really representing what's on that page, right? That's crazy. Okay.
So we can dive in further. I know we have questions, but we see that January, just the month of January, we're at 145% of expected
Wow.
for the PPO plan. I know December looks that way as well, but we can still split that up because of those weighted claims and.
where are you looking on this one? On the,
On
I'm on page 5 now?
We're on page 6 for the PPO 500 plan.
Okay.
And then if you look at the claims by month, you'll see January 18. And if you scroll over, it has medical paid claims, prescription paid claims in column F. But then if you go over to K, the loss ratio, it's 145% of expected. So we're starting to see those claims really impact that PPO 500 plan. And overall, that plan's running at just under 86% of expected right now.
I mean, it's just so obvious, you gotta get rid of it.
It's so bad, isn't it? I know.
Somehow, some way in the future.
Yeah.
We have, I mean, there really has been a lot of migration out of it though, so I think we have been
That's
making
good.
the,
Maybe this new plan that we just decided to purchase will help that matter too,
Mhm.
this new program.
and then page 7 is just your annual cost comparison where we take a look at where we project the annual cost to be. And right now, it's still relatively flat. There are completion factors, which is just basically saying you're going to have a full 12 month, and then we also have escalators for claims that haven't hit their deductibles, especially on the high deductible plan. So we load those up. So we're, you know, your fully insured premium was running at $538 over to the far right, and annualized for 17-18 is coming in at $519.58. So we'll see that adjust over the next couple of months as we continue to see more claims.
What's your plan year is September to,
August.
and that's your deductible year also?
So our total insured is, everything is 7,644 from page 3, is that correct?
Yeah, okay, I'm going to take a look at what you're looking at.
I'm on page 3, where it says total members, and this is, you said this is a combination of everything.
So subscribers are the employees, and then members would be adding the spouses
I
and
see.
children into it. Any other questions?
What does it say,
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, there is a large claim report right behind that. There is one more large claimant
what does it say?
on page
My
8.
large claims are in the hundreds and 200s and 300s.
They've had that. We're hoping not to see.
Can I-
Yeah, let's hope that that
Can I ask, on page 7, it says subscribers for 2016, 17, 14,000 plus, and 17, 18, 14,000 plus, but over on page 3, it says total members,
Right, so
7,000.
they've annualized it. They've annualized the members.
Do we get more members halfway through the year by 7,000 or something? What is-
So you're at 5,879. If we divide that by 5 and then multiply it by 12, we'll get that 14,110. We should.
Why would we increase by 7,000 subscribers over 6 months? Don't we have the same subscribers
We only
all
have
year?
5 months in right now, so this is trending it out for the rest of the.
Well, how do we gain that many more subscribers? I mean, we have a certain number of employees.
It's adding them together every month.
Every
So it's taking, if you look at column A on page 3, you have 1,166, 1,168, all the way down. That total is at 5,879.
Okay, I'm dense. You have, how many employees do we have?
On the plan,
No,
1,185.
in the district, SUSD has how many employees?
About 2,000.
How many?
About 2,000.
So, what is it? I thought then we insure that many people. So why do we have 14,000? That doesn't mean people then, that means,
Covered lives over the course of the year, so
oh,
it's,
Mostly you get an average number of participants per month.
right, so if we divided that 14,110 by 12, we're going to come out with right around 1,200, 11
per month.
per month.
Okay, that's weird, okay.
It goes up and down each month, or it can go up
It
and
could
down.
change, right?
Yeah,
All right.
Right,
people are dropping, man.
right.
I thought 14,000, how many people how many employees we have who are using our insurance?
That's how many members
not
I
what the
think
number
we serve
means.
throughout the whole year.
Right.
Well, it's not, because we don't serve 14,000 people through the year. We serve a certain number per month, and that's.
Right, it's
some-
adding it together.
Okay.
I can have them
No, it's
show
okay,
the
I just
average.
don't, something about average person hours per year or something, whatever it is, okay. It's not how many employees we have that use the insurance. Okay.
Yeah, how many are enrolled every month, and adds them every month together.
Okay.
Are there
I assume
any-
that's meaningful to you.
Are there any other questions or discussion items on the claims? Okay, next item on the agenda is the trust financial reporting.
I'll do this pretty quickly. January statements actually haven't been finalized because we are pending receipt of invoices for dental, vision, Cobra, which actually got sent over at about 5:45. So we're also, there's a little bit more information. We wait for a breakout of some of the deposits so we can attribute it, whether it's HSA or just payroll deductions. So they haven't been finalized yet, but what I do have is the reconciled bank balances. So cash, the reconciled bank balance in December, the last financials I presented, was $2.48 million. For 1/31, January 31st, it was actually 2.2 million. And for February 28th, 2.35 million. So when those statements get finalized, I'll email them out, just get them out to you via Laura. But we did see a slight dip. Part of that was some of that claims lag we've discussed and the claims recycle, so it's just catching back up. And then a slight uptick from January to February. So we're starting to see, as we talked about, leveling out in terms of the money that's coming in being pretty equivalent to the money that we expect to go out. But that fund balance staying at around 2 million.
Any questions? Oh, did you- Any questions? Discussion items? No? Okay. Very quickly, before we get to the request for future agenda items, I'd like to talk about our next meeting. We are rolling into open enrollment. We're going to be prepping for open enrollment in April. I'd like to request that we have our next meeting in May.
Fine, right?
Does that work for everybody?
I'm going to be gone probably the first 2 weeks of May.
Okay. Do you feel like we need a meeting earlier, Chris? Do you have any
No,
input on
I don't
that?
think we need one earlier. Kind of for agenda items to think about. Do you all want a planned performance, whether it be midway through the year from Magellan, your pharmacy benefit manager, Mar? Do we want to, so that time, and I'm like,
Okay, so plan performance from Magellan. So again, I'll go to the next item, which is the request for future agenda items. So far I have on here plan performance from Magellan, the incentive plan options that the HR and benefits office discuss for 2018, 2019. We'll bring that back to present. Any other items for the next agenda? Not at this time, okay. What does everybody's schedule look like for the week of the 21st of May?
I'm here until Friday. I go somewhere on Friday, but you're not going to be on Friday anyway.
I'm hearing our audience back there whisper graduations. So how about if we look at?
I'm not teaching it. I'm not teaching at Pima by then, and so
You won't be teaching at Pima. How does May 30th look for everybody? That's a Wednesday.
is that this, oh, it's a Wednesday, so Memorial's
fine.
already over.
Yep, Memorial's over.
Making sure.
Wednesday, May
Yeah.
30th.
Yeah.
Does that look good for everybody? 5 o'clock?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, perfect. Wednesday, May 30th at 5 o'clock.
I
Perfect.
think my calendar.
And we'll be done with open enrollment by then.
So awesome. Okay, and then two other quick items before we adjourn for unfinished business. I wanted to advise the trust board that we did present to the interest-based bargaining team last week. It went very well, I thought, and we will be taking the trust recommendations to the governing board on Tuesday. So hopefully we will have finalization of all of our recommendations. Then we'll start prepping for open enrollment in May. Okay.
How's your interest base going?
It's going well. Yeah. It's a good team. It's a good group.
I'm a
Yeah.
certified trainer for interest.
Oh, really?
Well, I was, 10
Interesting.
years ago.
Oh, very interesting. So at this point in time, is there any other unfinished business? No? Okay, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Move we adjourn.
Second. Wait, did he get any seconds? Did you want to second something? You didn't get to.
All right, so we got a second.
I
Thank
did
you.
adjourn.
All in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Yay, aye. Thank you all. Before you guys leave, I need to have your signature on the minutes.
No,
No, we take them off.
I mean, I'm happy to keep it for you, Nurse, and you need to get out of it. I am good with whatever. It was just the other ones with the financials we did.
That's for the minutes.
Cut out, open the room.
Thank you, sir. Have a wonderful day, and I'll send you a calendar invite for the next one.
Okay.
Here you go, Ellen. Sign that for me, that's for minutes from the last meeting. And then Elaine, I didn't get back to you. I've been working on contracts all day, so I haven't had a chance to get back
Oh,
to you
that's
on
okay.
any
I just
questions,
figured
but I
you
will.
would educate me.
Yeah, oh, of course, not a problem. Right there for me, please. Thank you.
Steep learning curve for me, dear.
Oh, that's okay, not a problem. I love your input and your questions, because they help me think of things also. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great evening.
You want me to save the questions till later? The different time you're tired?
I will get back to you through email, probably tomorrow. Does that work okay? I've been here
That's
since
fine.
6.
Oh, no,
Yes,
that's
you too.
fine.
It was nice to see you again. Thank you for coming.
No, that's fine.
Does that work okay?
Oh, sure, I'm hungry
Okay,
anyway. I'll go.
thank you. Oh, yeah. Good.
I'm just gonna give you a stamp. Stamp.
It's awesome.
Probably worth my $10.
Right. You guys want to help me out? Yes, I am going home now. I'm tired. It's been a long day.
I was waiting to see how today went and then I'll finalize the PowerPoint.
Oh, good.
with
Will
the
you
wellness.
add this, the
Wellness. Oh, and
the wellness and the,
Yeah, that's, yeah.
I text out of here.
Oh, did you text him?
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
First OE meeting.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, we'll have to
Thank
get
Good
on
to
that.
see you again. Thank you so much. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
I thought you were gonna drop
Bye-bye.
like March or April.
Oh, no, we'll have all, pretty much the first couple weeks of May, we'll be doing a ton of meetings, so we'll start working on those.
So you said that we could get somebody here from UMR to talk about the tool
Yeah, as long as I know well enough in advance.
when the meetings are?
Yeah,
Okay.
and
Do you-
when we do this, this is new, but when we've been on site for OE participation.
Yeah.
We kind of report back and track like participation and how many people we helped.
Yeah.
So, we're always willing to do it for year one, but then we get.
And then to see.
So-
No, I understand that. That makes
So then
sense.
something I would ask, Laura, maybe,
Thanks, Doug. See you later.
bye, Deb.
Bye.
You know, I don't know that it's helpful to have someone available to do the tool at the meeting, but potentially, is it helpful, Laura, to have someone stationed in HR at a certain day and time?
Oh, I don't
A couple of those, because what I've heard in the past is that your HR folks get inundated with these calls and they're coming in and wanting help with the tool. So if we say, look, if you want help with the tool, here's the time, you know, maybe it's an hour
Oh,
here.
that's a good idea.
And we're, you know,
I like that.
if we have time, we're in capacity, we could definitely,
It's a better time of year to be asking for people to be on site than for one-on-one renewal.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the November or whatever, like
If
other
we do
places.
that, honestly, if I just need like a month and a half of advance notice,
Okay.
I'll block my schedule,
Okay.
and I'll come in with my laptop, I'll work all day, I'll be like I'm an SUSD employee. So
I
I'll
like
be
that
working,
idea.
and then if people come in and want to do the tool,
I might try to keep you.
I